Welcome to Blind Cafe's Naked DJs podcast, where every day we expose ourselves to the very best music. Some days we like to shake it up, some days we let it all hang out, and others we just like to stick it out there for you to listen to.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Naked DJs podcast. We are doing our very first one of 2023. It is awesome. We're happy to be back. We had some rough times last year with some fellow DJs that passed away, and we had just a lot of issues last year, but I think we're on track for this year. So we're going to get this show started, get you guys all caught up with the Naked DJs. And I'd like to say that we have Curtis Curveball here today, Dr. Johnny Love, Foxy Lady J, and DJ Tom. I want to welcome all of you to the very first podcast of 2023.
Happy 2023, all. Thanks for listening.
Happy New
Nice
Year,
to
everybody.
be here.
Yes, happy 2023. I'm not wearing any pants.
Well, we weren't supposed to tell people that.
TMI.
Way
Exactly.
too much information.
Now, I don't know if we're going to still have listeners or not.
How
No.
does it go? Doo-doo-ch.
Yeah, exactly. I should have hit the drum thing there. All right. Our very first, this is just a little conversational piece, nothing really major. Everybody knows that who Sammy Hagar is. His number one hit of the 80s, I Can't Drive 55, was his best song ever. That made him the most money in the business, but it didn't make him as much money as alcohol because he has a lot of alcohol, tequila, and some whiskeys that he has his name on. The most recent alcohol that he has, and all of you got to try this, is that he has Beach Bar rum. It is an up-class rum that you can just drink straight on the rocks or straight. It is a really smooth rum. And I just wanted to bring that up because it's just been really popular. He's been on Fox News, CNN, all these other places, and talking about the rum. He is now also going to be doing 2 concerts in California, starting March 3rd, March 4th, and he'll be in 2 different locations in California. And of course, he will be advertising that new rum. I guarantee it. He also,
MJ, one thing about his slogan, it says, "One sip and you'll surrender."
Can you send us a bottle?
Are you getting a kickback for advertising this, Michael?
No, I just found it quite interesting because here's the part that I found interesting of Sammy Hagar. Remember when we heard the interview with him, Julie? That they said he was 75 years old, but he did not sound 75 years old. He still sounded like he was still in his 50s. I was just like, wow, I hope I sound that good at 75. You know what I mean?
I won't be around on March the 2nd. Here in Plant City, where we have our Strawberry Festival, Walker Hayes is going to be there, and so am I.
I'll be there as well.
Oh, you guys are going to go check out Walker Hayes and get fancy like, huh?
Absolutely.
And then after that, they're going to go to AA.
Well,
Probably.
yeah,
I met
possibly.
Garth Brooks there. You can get really close to the stage there.
It's a great venue. You can really, been to shows there and perform there. And it's just a great venue.
Actually, Curtis, they're going to have to keep Julie off pole and MJ out of jail if they're going to go see Walker Hayes.
Oh, no, I won't be
Keep
in
her
jail.
off the pole.
Wow.
Yeah, you're going to have to listen to the song AA. You'll get the reference.
Julie, are you going to be on the pole during that concert?
You never know.
All right, so we'll get back to Sammy Hagar here. We'll just leave that imagination to everybody's thoughts on that one. Like I said, he'll be in concert March 3rd, March 4th, but he's going through ticketcenter.com. They've been in business since 2010, and because of the whole mix-up with Ticketmaster, ticketcenter.com is really starting to push heavy and getting new customers. So I just found that quite interesting as well. If nobody has any other comment, I just wanted to bring up the Sammy Hagar, the rum thing, and a little bit of what he was doing. But
Doesn't he have
I want to know if
tequila?
you're going to send us a bottle.
well,
Yeah,
you
I think
told us
he's
to
got
send us
Cabo
your
Wabo.
our address to you.
Yeah, I'm sure. How much is that rum? What is it, about $50?
I bet it's couldn't. You know what? I looked it up. I was trying to find it. I couldn't find a price on the rum.
They
That's when you
said
know it's
he's made
expensive.
far more money with his alcohol than he has with songs.
That's
Yes.
true.
He also
That's-
uses
Man,
sugarcane from Hawaii.
Pure sugar cane. Okay, Jewel, I know your blood sugar is going to go up on that one.
So that was just my little quick thing there. We have a lot to cover today, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Johnny. He's going to tell us the new stuff about Naomi Judd.
Alrighty, we all know that Naomi Judd passed away April 30th, 2022 from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after a long battle with mental illness. She left her fortune and estate, believed to be $25 million, to Larry Strickland, who was her husband of 33 years. And she did not mention her daughters Winona and Ashley in the will. It's kind of odd right there. Let's see, Larry was in Europe at the time of her death, and I guess the three of them filed a lawsuit to stop the release of such materials, but they drew the lawsuit in December after journalists stopped asking for photos and body camera footage. I took a course once called Media Ethics, and the media has no ethics.
Especially TMZ. When they show stuff that they shouldn't show, they just say it's part of the case.
Definitely. Also, most recently, it has come to light, Williamson County Sheriff's Department has released documents, pictures, and they have also made public. Let me see. Yep. Now, several celebrity tabloid outlets have published the released photographs, as well as text and conversations Ashley had with Naomi's therapist that day. That doesn't sound right to me. That's just wrong on my book right there. What do you guys think on that?
I didn't think you could release a conversation.
I thought your medical records were private.
What you have to realize these days is that society sucks. They want to see this kind of stuff, camera footage and just any kind of thing that they want these days. That's why you have this type of issue.
News media has always been about gathering up dirt, and just over the decades, they've gotten worse about that philosophy.
But if you try to talk about something positive, they don't want to hear that.
Hence, like I said, the media has no ethics. Also, let me see, because I always thought it was doctor-patient
confidentiality
and the HIPAA stuff like that. I guess that goes out the window now. But the images included blood-stained bedding, a gun on a nightstand, and a Post-it style note that read, "Do not let Y come to my funeral. She's mentally ill." Okay, what do y'all think about that one? What's your take on that?
I was stunned.
She basically said, "Don't ask why. I did what I needed to do. People can criticize or whatever, but you don't understand what kind of pain she probably was in."
But I think her daughter might actually have the same illness as Naomi, because why would Naomi write that and say, "Don't let Winona come to my funeral," because she's mentally ill as well?
Wasn't there a rift between those two all along, though? Anyway,
because they wasn't left in her will. There might have been some type of issues.
Well, I got 3 questions here I'd like to ask, and that's going to be the first one. Do you find it that her 2 daughters were not in her will? Now, I always thought, hey, you can put whoever you want in the will, even though the people that aren't in it are going to contest it. Curtis, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Well, you either create your own will or you let the state fight over it without one. So, I mean, I guess you put who you want. People have issues in life, regardless of it's family or not. And so she put who she wanted in there and left out who she didn't.
All right, MJ, what do you think?
When I read that and it said the daughters were not included in the will whatsoever, I thought, okay, there's definitely issues going on there, because even Winona, the other daughter, Ashley, wasn't in the will as well. So there had to have been some conflict going on between the entire family. But her leaving the entire estate to her husband of 35 years, I don't think you can contest that, because they were married, and I mean, legitly, that should be his anyway. Document. Yeah, that should be his anyway.
Well, that's true. It's true. Julie, how about you?
I think it could be totally different. Both girls had their own houses on the property. And so, Naomi may have thought that, the girls have their homes. And I know Larry did say that he was going to make sure everything was fair. And I don't know, because Y and Naomi were going to go out on tour together, but they did have their spats along the way.
Well, that's true. Every duo group band has their spats and stuff, and with
And
them
not
being
only that, all of them got money.
true, true. But what I was going to say was, hey, but them being family, you're really going to have some more spats and stuff. Tom, how about you? What do you think?
It's interesting how they portrayed one big happy family image on stage, and yet there's a lot more beneath the surface that just wasn't revealed until her actual death. On the other hand, Ashley and Winona and Naomi, respectively, had their own fortunes because of the music. So who knows?
Well, I think Ashley was more the actress. I think.
Yes, that's always going to be my thing too.
Than Winona was. Alrighty, I think that she left Winona and Ashley out of the will. I don't think it was wrong because, we said that they had their own money and house and stuff like that. So they were kind of taken care of. And really, she was married to Larry for 33 years. So, what, you got to do. And if he wants to split it up and make it all even and square, that's cool. I'm all good for that.
Now, maybe if the daughters were teenagers or something like that, but they got their own money. They're pretty old,
Well, Ashley's 54 and Winona's 58. Not bad.
So the one thing I want to comment on what Tom just said is that in the public's eye, they were one happy family. Well, that's the professional side of them. They didn't want to bring out the dirty laundry into the public, but every once in a while you'll hear the little issues that they have. Of course, the mother had cancer, the daughter and the mother fought all the time, with the things, but in the public's eye, that's one thing I do like about them. When it was in the public's eye, when they were standing there talking to the public, they learned how to be professional, and that's exactly what they were every single time. Everyone's going to have their spats in the background, but in the public's eye, they were professional and they left politics out of it.
I believe Naomi had stopped touring because I think she had hepatitis. I don't know if it was B or C she had, but that's why she had stopped touring for a while. All righty, let's go on to question number 2. What are your thoughts on the release of documents, pictures, all that good media stuff? I'm not all for it. I think stuff like that should be not released, and it should just be private, but that's just me. Tom, what do you think?
I've never been for media seeking after the most negative aspect of a story that they can. I've never aspired to that ideal. I think certain things should be private.
Makes me think of that song, I think by Glenn Frey, Dirty Laundry. That's the song that comes to my mind right away. All right, Julie, what do you think?
I'm in total agreement with Tom. We don't need to see the blood stains on the bed, and we certainly have no business knowing what was in the note that she left. That's very personal, very, very personal. So I'm with Tom right there.
I agree. MJ, how about you?
Well, I'm in agreement with Foxy, Lady J, and Tom that the note is definitely personal. That was a personal note that should have never been shared by the therapist whatsoever. The pictures, eventually I knew they would get out there. They always seem to get out there. But the Suicide Prevention Act basically states that you should, any kind of a killing that's been done by suicide, basically everything should stay private no matter what. But we live in a world now that people like to watch criminal shows and detective and evidence and all those court cases and all that. So, and that's what the media feeds off of. That's what kind of world we live in. And the media is like, ooh, let me see if I can get this stuff. So they'll, take a look at our magazine or our newspaper, that type of thing. But I agree with Julie and Tom. That stuff should have stayed private.
Yeah, it's It all should have just stayed private, and that should have just left where it lay. Curtis, how about you?
What you have to realize is that everything is about monetization these days. These people that released and leaked this stuff, they probably got paid by somebody on the down low. And that's what our society likes now. We like to have that information because if we didn't have a yearning for it, there would be no place for it. So since we have that yearning, even though people, I guess, really don't want to admit that, they want to act like, oh, why did you show that? Why did you release that? Because y'all want it.
Can't disagree with that. Yeah, the way society is anymore, it's they want to see all the bad things. I mean, you could have something good. You could have 10 things happen, 9 bad, 1 good, and the 9 bad things are going to get newsworthy. All righty, how about we go to the last question here? Do you think that Winona and Ashley maybe has the same mental illness as their mother? It could be hereditary. I'm not a doctor myself, so I don't know. I'm just saying it could be hereditary. If they do, I hope they don't do what Naomi did. I hope they get, help and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if they have it. If they do, like I said, it's hereditary. It runs in the family.
Why bring it up? Why bring it up? Again, that goes back to family privacy, in my humble opinion, because it's all from where we all sit in our seats. It's all speculative anyway.
Point taken. Point taken. MJ, what do you think?
Same thing. It's all private. I mean, even though they're not going on tour anymore, I don't see Winona going on tour by herself anymore. If they do have the mental illness, it won't be as stressful, hopefully. Maybe because of the mother's death or what she did. I don't know. I'm not a doctor just like you. I don't know if it's hereditary or not. And I thought you were a doctor, Dr. Johnny Love. But no, seriously, it's a private thing. If they do have the symptoms or the illness, the sad part is if they go to a therapist, what happens if the therapist leaks the information? Are they going to leak the information for more money to the tabloids? I mean, wouldn't that cause them to lose their license for doing it? I mean, the lady that leaked it for Naomi, she should have lost her license, I would think.
I agree. I agree right there.
The dollars for this information. So who cares if you lose your license? You're probably not going to lose it anyway because they're not going to TMZ or whoever not going to give the sources away.
Curtis got a point, but yeah, I agree with MJ there that if they're going to do that, they should lose their license. I mean, come on, if a lawyer did that and he got caught, he'd be disbarred. Julie, what do you think?
I think it's their own personal business and it's none of ours.
All righty, so we kind of all agree on that. It's their business. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, but they got it. Just
I think being in the business like that brings forth probably different kind of stresses and mental illnesses. So even if they don't have it, they probably got some kind of stress and some kind of issues.
To me, if we're fans of theirs, we should just pray for them.
There you go. That's a good way. I like that. All righty. I'm going to toss it back over to MJ about Flo Rida.
Yes, Flo Rida. Curtis, is there anything that you'd like to say about this, or you want me to read what I have here real quick, and then if you have anything to add to it?
Well, basically, to sum it up, he invested in an energy drink and got screwed and got a bigger payout from it. So that's a good thing that justice system worked for him and they were fair to him and he was happy with it. And he got a chance to talk about his new musical collaborations coming up because I always have liked Flo Rida.
Yes. Tramer Dillard is his actually real name. He was born in 1979. He's only 43 years old. And his most recent hit was back in 2012. You could correct me on this one too, Curtis, if you like, since you listen to him. It was called Whistle. And I guess he does have some new albums that are coming up. And the one thing that I liked about the whole thing is that when he took the energy drinks, Seltzer, I think it was Seltzer, energy drink to court, he wasn't asking for anything more or anything less. He just wanted to get what he deserved. And honestly, I think that's what helped his case out. He wasn't trying to screw them. He just wanted what he was deserved. And I just think that's awesome. But making, like Johnny said, $83 million basically in one shot. anybody would be happy on that. The only sad part is he's going to have to pay taxes on it.
I'll pay taxes on 83 million.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely would pay taxes on 83 million.
Unless you live in California, because then they want half of it.
All right, so that was just a quick little thing. We just wanted to give some people some good news that, something came out really nice for a singer that was getting screwed, and he got what he deserved, and that's just awesome. All right, we're going to move right along to Lisa Marie Presley. Everybody already knows the information there, basically. She was born 1968, January 12th, and 2023 she died. She was only 54 years old. She lived in Los Angeles, California, in her own personal house. Now, for her not living in Graceland, I just thought that was sort of weird. I would think she would be living in Graceland, but she was an American singer-songwriter. Now, she was the only child of singer and actor of Elvis Presley, of actress Priscilla Presley. And now, she only had one son. He died of suicide just a few years ago. She does have twins, I do believe, Julie?
No, she has 3 daughters.
3 daughters. And like I said, she died cardiac arrest. She had her first cardiac arrest. They did revive her, but the family put a no, what is it called? Do
not resuscitate.
Yeah, do not resuscitate again if she has, if something else happens. Well, she went to another cardiac arrest and they just let her pass away because she was almost brain dead after the first one, wasn't she?
Yes.
So the reason why I brought her up, I know the news is still pretty fresh, but the reason why I brought her up is because of her passing. I know the name. I know the name only because of Elvis Presley. And I know she did some singing here and there, but I didn't really follow her career that much as a singer.
Didn't she date Michael Jackson at one point?
She did.
I remember her.
I think she married him.
Yeah, I believe she was married to him.
That is correct. She was married. She married Michael Jackson. I think the marriage only lasted maybe a year, if that. It was a business move, and it was clearly admitted as such.
Basically, it was a joke.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Her next husband, she was only married to him for 6 months, too.
She was married 4 times.
Don't look to Hollywood if you want to know good positive things about marriage.
Exactly. So my question is that when she died, she hogged the limelight of everybody else, Jeff Beck, everybody else that died because of, I guess, who she is or her name. But in my opinion, I mean, if it was her father that passed away, I could see being major news, or that I just didn't think that Lisa Marie Presley was that. I mean, the name is big because of Presley, but I didn't think she wasn't that big to hog the limelight basically when she died.
I agree with you, MJ, because if she was a singer and songwriter, I can't tell you one song or even a hit that she created. Not one.
Me neither.
Nor can I.
These people just live off names. When you hit a name, Presley, everybody knows who she is. And when I heard that she married Michael, I'm like, oh, that's Elvis Presley's daughter. So I don't know what she was doing, but when you hear it, you know.
Exactly. Well, she was buried with her son at Graceland next to her son and her father. And the estate was left to all 3 children. Priscilla Presley is still alive, I do believe, if I read that correctly, and she's living at Graceland too.
No one lives at Graceland.
Oh, she's not living at Graceland.
No, it's a bed and breakfast place.
It's and a shrine to Elvis, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is quite indebted, by the way. Be interesting to see what her children do to try to turn that around.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a tough thing to do. That one thing I was going to bring up is that they were indebted. That's for sure. All right, that was just a question there, and like I said, we have a lot of stars that we want to cover for next month as well. And speaking of next month, we will have another podcast towards the end of the month. We're going to take our quick little commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of the Naked DJs in just a minute with DJ Tom talking about Jeff Beck.
If you want to check out all of the great music, news, and gossip that you love, and if you're looking for that, The place to be every Monday through Friday beginning at 8 a.m. Eastern is with Julie and Michael on Blind Café Radio's Talking Points. So be sure to spend your mornings with Julie and Michael on Talking Points.
Awesome. Welcome back to the Naked DJs. And now we're going to send things over to DJ Tom and Jeff Beck.
We are losing so many great, legendary musical artists. And recently, we have lost legendary guitarist Jeff Beck. He was born June 24th, 1944, and he died at the age of 78. Beck died of bacterial meningitis, and he performed with some phenomenal groups, including his own, the Jeff Beck Group. He performed in the 60s with the Yardbirds, and he played up until his death with a band called Soundgarden. He also was a part of the Yardbirds in the 60s. He was also involved in musical endeavors with Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page of Pink Floyd, and believe it or not, I didn't know that this individual even played guitar, but Johnny Depp. So he's had a very significant career over his 78 years.
What happened with that collaboration is when Johnny Depp went through his lawsuit against his wife, Amber Heard, once it was over, he hopped on a plane that day, and Jeff Beck was playing in England in a bar, and Johnny Depp got up on stage with him, and they started playing together, and Jeff Beck was on a tour, and he invited Johnny Depp with him to tour with him, which I thought was unbelievable. I didn't even know Johnny Depp could sing, but apparently that's what he wanted to do before he got into acting.
Yeah, Johnny Depp started his own band, I think. Not just saying, I think he tried to start his own band and all that as well.
And as far as us losing all these stars, I mean, these guys are older, people that done music in the 70s and 80s and that we love. And, it's just how it is, and eventually, as it goes on, we'll start losing people that we love that did music in the 2000s and now. Just take a while, maybe.
Yeah, Beck is right up there as far as legendary guitarists, along with Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page and others.
I look at it like this. 2022 said, I took a lot of famous people. No one's going to beat me. 2023 just looked at 2022, said, hold my beer, watch this.
We all got to do it one day, somehow.
Yep, death is definitely a part of life. We are mortal beings. And so, with that in mind, we will miss the music of Jeff Beck, but it will remain as a legacy.
Now, as a friend of mine likes to always say, what is remembered lives. And as long as we got the music of Jeff Beck and the Judds and Elvis, and I guess Lisa Marie, they'll always be remembered. So, they'll always be in the limelight.
Absolutely.
And I think Jimmy Page was in Led Zeppelin, not Pink Floyd.
You're right. My bad. I thought he was with Pink Floyd for a while too, though. Who am I thinking of? It was a Jimmy in Pink Floyd, right?
I don't know. I'd have to take a look.
I'm pretty sure Jimmy Page was in Pink Floyd for a while too.
You should know, Mr. Music Man. And thank you for plugging our morning show, Curtis. We have a lot of fun doing that show. I'm surprised that Michael has lasted 4 years.
Yes, that morning show is definitely off the chain. I plug it on every show, changing it up with DJ Curveball from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Thursday on BCR.
I like that, BCR. I wanted to do that from the beginning and mention BCR. All right, anybody else have any other comments? And if not, I will close out our show.
please leave us a like and let us know if you like this podcast.
We're also interested in any potential ideas for topics. That's something that you'd like us to cover. Please let us know as well.
And don't forget, January the 28th or 29th, Michael, it's Blind Cafe Radio's birthday. We hope you listen to the station that day and join in the celebrations with us.
Well, if it's the 28th, that is actually today. So happy birthday, Blind Cafe Radio.
Absolutely. Happy Blind Cafe Radio. This is what, our 4th year already. And I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And I am Lightning Blind Mike. And I hope you guys had a great time listening to the Naked DJs podcast today. Please make sure you rate, review, and leave us your comments in the window. We really would appreciate it. Also, as Tom and Julie said, if you have any suggestions or likes, please like us on Facebook, Blind Cafe Radio, Twitter at Blind Cafe Radio. That would be awesome as well. Again, we want to thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day. And from all of us, we'll see you next month.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Go and check out Blind Cafe Radio at blindcaferadio.com, and also follow us on Twitter at Blind Cafe Radio and on Facebook at Blind Cafe Radio. Make sure you visit our webpage at blindcaferadio.com, where you can visit our naked DJ. And this is the Blind Cafe Kangaroo signing off.